Hey, listen, if you understand and really truly get what we're about to talk about today, these 5 things, the chances of you becoming successful increases significantly. The chance of you making it happen. Yep, that dream, that vision, the thing that you want to create, the thing that's inside of your soul, that burning desire, that ambition that is lying inside of you. I promise you, if you understand this, you apply this, and you trust the process of this, the percentage of you becoming successful increases drastically. Because I'm going to tell you right now, most people quit on the thing that is meant for their life. A lot of times we say, oh, this isn't meant for me, because it gets hard, because we're met with some resistance, because we're met with some adversity. And I want to just say this and give you a powerful quote. Adversity is just an opportunity to show what you're really made of. Adversity is just an opportunity to show if you really want it or not. Adversity is an opportunity to show if you're really about that life. Adversity is a disguise for opportunity. The things that are meant for your life. You cannot become legendary without adversity. So as we go down this journey today, I really want you to be real with yourself. I really want you to ask yourself, like, do I really want this? Do I really want the thing that I say that I want? Because some people talk it, but people don't live it. You got to live it. You got to breathe it. You got to be it. You got to be dedicated to a mission, not just have a desire. I told you that since day one. Desire is not enough. I don't care what anybody says. There's many people that have desires, the desire to be that, the desire to do this. But desire is not enough, especially on this journey of success. You got to have dedication. You got to have determination, because I see a lot of strong desires, but weak dedications that never get the things that are meant for their life. So I don't want to hear the excuse anymore. Oh, this isn't meant for me. Yeah, some things aren't meant for you. The things that you're chasing that are not for you, but some things are meant for you. Some things are created for you, but it's going to take some work. It's going to take some perseverance. It's going to take some endurance to actually see those things come to life, to experience the harvest. So number one, in this journey of success, in this road of success, in this, climbing this mountain of success, you got to understand these 5 things. And if you truly understand these 5 things, it will shift, it will change your life. Number one, right? When you're trying to become successful at whatever, it could be a sport, it could be a product you're trying to create, it could be entrepreneurship, it could be the level up at your job, whatever it is. The first step in this journey of success is excitement, right? The decision phase. A lot of people make the decision to go for it. A lot of people get excited when you start something new, a new job, or you say, you know what, I'm going to start this podcast, or I'm going to start this company. You're excited because it's something new. Like, you're just overwhelmed with emotions, right? Because you haven't met resistance. You haven't met adversity, and your dopamine is carrying you through. Everybody starts the first step. Everybody's excited. Everybody's making announcements, say, man, I'm about to do this. This is about to be my year. I'm about to change everything. And you go hard. And the problem is some of us go harder than we need to, and we end up burning out. We're running at a pace that we cannot sustain. So the first part of this journey is excitement, and that's okay. You should be excited about something that you want to create. You should be excited about your dreams. You should be excited about the thing that you feel is going to shift and change the world. You should be excited about the thing that you feel is going to change the trajectory of your last name, right? For generations to come. You should be excited, because if you're not excited, I'm like, does that thing really mean that much to you? But a lot of us, we depend on excitement to carry us through. And I'm going to tell you right now, the journey of success, at a point, it will become mundane, meaning that it will get to a point where it just becomes the ebbs and flows of life. Like, you got to excite yourself. You got to bring that excitement back. It will become a point where it gets boring, especially when you're not seeing the results that you thought that you would see. Because a lot of people sell your dreams. And I'm not going to be a person to sell your dreams. It is incredibly hard to make something happen with your life. Not because you're not capable, like not because, you can't figure it out. It's hard because some of you have put a timeline. I'm not saying don't have goals. I'm not saying don't have certain timelines to hit your marks, but some of you have put a timeline on your destiny. You put a timeline on your dreams, and you have allowed people to convince you through comparison that these things have to happen on this timeline. For most of you, if I'm being real with you, ask yourself this question. Is your timeline even yours, or is it influenced by somebody else? Did somebody tell you about when you're 30, you got to have X, Y, Z? When you're 25, you should be here. When you're 35, your life should look like this. When you're 40, your life should look like that. And I'm not saying you can't consider that information. I'm not saying that information is completely false. But a lot of us, what we have done, we've adopted other people's timeline of our life. So we look out and be like, oh, it hasn't happened yet. Somebody sold me a dream. Somebody told me that, man, if I start this podcast, I should get 1 million downloads in the first year. Yeah, right. That's not going to happen for most of us, unless you're a unicorn. Somebody told me, man, if I start this business, I should be in the green in the first few months. For most of us, that's not going to happen. You might be in the red. You got to figure some things out. Oh, somebody told me that if I just start this, whatever, you fill in the blank, it's going to happen. Yes, it's going to happen over time for most of us. And so a lot of us, we depend on the excitement. And when the excitement leaves, I like to say when the mood leaves, our commitment leaves. When the mood leaves, our commitment disappears and we start to have these thoughts. Oh, wait, like this must not meant for me because I'm not excited about it anymore. You got to create your excitement. I've recorded thousands of podcasts, right? It gets boring at a point. I walk in here sometimes and don't want to record a podcast, but I never walk into this room and sit down with that energy. I create the excitement. I think about all the lives that are going to be impacted, even if it's one. I think about where I started. I think about, man, the responsibility I have to be able to give information to the world that can shift, that can change someone's life, right? I ignite the excitement back in my soul, so I show up with this type of energy. So the first part of your journey is the decision phase, right? Is the excitement phase, is making a choice. That's the easy part. Most people do that. Move on to the second part of this journey is the resistance phase. This is the phase where most people say, oh, this isn't for me. This is a phase where most people tuck their tail and they run away from their commitments. This is the phase where most people stop being consistent. This is the phase where most people lose faith. This is the phase where most people lose their dedication, lose their desires. This is the phase where most people end up showing that they weren't about that life, that they were just making announcements on Facebook about what they're going to change, and they don't stay loyal to it. This is the phase where they abandon their commitments, they abandon their loyalty, they abandon their vision. They become loyal to all the other things except the thing that they said was their life. This is the phase where most people realize that they really ain't about that life. And I say it unapologetically because I see it all the time. I see everybody, especially at the new year, talking about what they're going to change, what they're going to do. And I love that, by the way. I love the intention to want to change. But the truth is, intention isn't enough to create your change. It's a great starting point. It's a great first step, but it doesn't create your change because there's a lot of people in this world that have the best intentions, but they don't pay attention. They don't give their attention to the things that truly can transform and change their life. Intention by itself doesn't create change. You got to follow up with consistent action. You got to follow up with a relentless spirit. You got to follow up with faith and heart and all those things. With consistency, you fill in the blank. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But when we hit this stage of resistance, we start to say, oh, it's supposed to feel like this. I'm supposed to go through growing pains, even though I'm trying to grow. Like, even though I understand that growing pains are a part of growth, but they told me that it would be easy. I look out on social media, I see everybody living their best life, not realizing that people are just hiding their journey. Everybody's journey, if you're successful, I promise you, the road to success isn't paved with success. It's paved with failure. It's paved with mistakes. It's paved with setbacks. It's paved with questions. Do you even really want it? That's what it's paved with. The road of success isn't mansions, right? Maybe as you get down the yellow brick road, you start to see some mansions of people who stuck with it. But then first houses that you see on the road to success is shacks, it's huts, it's broken down things because most people abandon right there. They stop building right there. That's why you see a lot of incompletion on the road to success. And I get passionate and fired up about this. And I know I'm like, dang, Trent, your energy just shifted. Because as I go down that road of success, every time I go down those different roads, I get discouraged a little bit because all I see is incompletion. All I see is abandoned dreams. All I see is people that turn their back on their commitments. That's all I see. And then I see complaints. I see people standing outside by their fence when they stop building and complain about how life is unfair. Complain about nobody supports them. Complain about social media. Complain about this. Complain about that. They have literally built that complainer spirit because you have trained your brain to complain. Instead of training your brain to focus on solutions, you have trained your brain to focus on problems. You have trained your brain to have the BC mindset, blame and complain. So when I drive down the road of success, especially those first few blocks, all I hear is people complaining. Life isn't fair. Right? It's this person's fault. Nobody supports me. Nobody believes in me. And even though those things are true, those things can't stop you. How do I know? Because I've been through those same things. I've been through doubts for myself. I've been through doubts of my peers. But what they thought about me didn't change the belief inside me. What they think about you Doesn't have to change the belief inside you. What you feel about yourself is your truth, not what they feel about you. So never let their impossibilities be placed on your life. Never let their lies become your truth. Never let their perception become yours. Their fears ain't yours. Their doubts ain't yours. Their life ain't yours. Their limitations on yours. Stop adopting those things. Don't let people put their opinions on your life. It's their opinions. Go live your best life. Let them complain. Let them criticize, let them critique, and I just want to see you succeed. I want to see you climb. I want to see you go for it. I want to see you keep going down that road of success, because as you get down that road of success, I promise you, you'll start to see more completion. You'll start to see people that stuck with it. You'll start to see people that persevere, right? You'll see people that didn't stop at resistance. And the sad thing, man, that bothers my soul is that so many people stop right here. They think that the opposition is working against them, right? All the things that is trying to place more doubt. And all this stage is doing is really increasing your belief. How can you believe in it more when you don't have anything challenging your beliefs? How can you truly know that you made for it when you don't have anything that's creating doubt and fears in your life? You see, when your back's against the wall, that's when you see what you really made of. You know, when you're going against all these limitations and all these fears, challenges, adversity, that's when you see what you really made of. And that's when your belief is strengthened. Your belief isn't strengthened in the success. Your belief isn't strengthened because everything is going right. Your belief is strengthened in those moments where you want to give up, but you don't. In those moments where you want to throw in the towel, but you grab the towel and just wipe the sweat off your face and you keep moving forward. You see, you got to realize this truth. And I want you to write this quote down and share this quote. One of my favorite quotes I ever wrote. Progression is an ugly road that leads to a beautiful place. And the sad thing about that quote that's true is most people never get to that beautiful place because they never persevere. They give up before it's their time. They quit before they see their breakthrough. That's why I love a breaking point, because at a breaking point, that fork in the road, you got a choice. You can break down or you can break through. And when you choose to break through, those adversities strengthen you. All those things that have come against you, it strengthens you. That's why you got to find a meaning, a mission that carries you through this stage of resistance. That's why I always say those external reasons, those surface level, non-powerful reasons of why you want to go do what you do, the monetary reasons, the status reasons, it's not enough. Because when those things don't show up, because they're not going to show up for most of us. They're not until later on down the road. They're not going to show up. Most of us, we give up at that point because we're so focused on that when we don't see those things happening, we give up and say, this isn't for me. And what you start to see, and I see this so much, and I feel for you if you're this person, but today's the day that you stop. Today's the day that you stick with something. So many people have so many things going on in their life, so many different things that they're doing. Every year it's something different. Every month is something different. You know what I mean? Well, I'm doing this now. Or I'm doing that now. And you don't even know who you are because you're doing so many things. Because every time you get to that stage of resistance, you convince yourself that this isn't for you. And now you're doing something else and you start over. And when you do something else, you get excited about it. You know, I'm doing this now. You tell everybody and you're excited and say, this is going to be the thing. This is going to work out. And then you get to that stage of resistance and say, oh, well, nah, this isn't for me. And you literally find reasons to justify that. You make up reasons to justify that. And you live your whole entire life balancing between phase 1 and phase 2. And you become a professional quitter. And I know that stings a little bit, but that's the truth. You become a professional quitter and you quit and you never see things through. You see, a big part of success is not some secret formula. The people that get to that final phase that we're going to talk about are the people that just saw it through, are the people that thought beyond because their mission was deep. What they currently were seeing, they knew where they were going. So they knew where they were at was just a part of the journey. It wasn't the final destination. So they moved through that phase of resistance and they used that phase of resistance to actually strengthen. Resistance has the power to break you or build you. Resistance has the power to make you say, oh, this isn't for me and quit. Or you can say, you know what? I'm going to allow this moment of me figuring it out to build me, to strengthen me, to make me stronger. And everybody's story, I'm telling you, they always tell the story about this phase, about the phase where everybody doubted them, but they kept going. About the phase where they wrote the book and nobody bought the book, but they kept going. Everybody's story is about this phase. Because this is the most powerful phase, because this is the phase, if you see it through, and you might be in this phase for a year, you might be in this phase for 5 years, hopefully not, but you might be in this phase for a decade. You might be in this phase for a few months. Everybody's journey is different, but this is the phase that everybody talks about. This phase right here, this is the phase, right? You threw the event and nobody showed up, but you threw the next event and more people showed up. This is the phase where you told everybody that you were going to do this thing and nobody supported you. Nobody invested in you. Nobody believed in you. Nobody helped you. This is the phase that people talk about. I had this phase. It's a great part of my story where I started selling t-shirts and only sold 12. Nobody wanted to buy it. This is the phase. In those moments, I could have been like, you know what? I'm not selling no more t-shirts. My designs suck. Nobody cares about me. But I say, you know what? 12 t-shirts? Hell yeah, that's more than one. That's more than none. Let's keep going. Now we've sold thousands, hundreds of thousands of shirts over the last 15 years. Millions of dollars of income throughout our journey with Rehab Time merch. Millions of lives helped because every shirt that's bought, it goes into helping somebody. The stage of resistance that you're in, what's going to pull you through? You got to find that mission. You got to find that meaning. You got to find that hunger that says, I got to keep going. What's the thing when I say that? I got to keep going. What's the thing that ignites you right now? What's the thing that you think about? Why you got to keep going? Maybe it's your kids. Hopefully it's deeper than that. Make it more than your kids. Make it a lifelong mission that you will never achieve. I will never achieve helping the world, every soul in the world, live by self-worth. Know what self-worth is, right? Live a legendary life. Help people make the world respect their greatness, etc. So all the things that I talk about, I will never achieve that, but I will die trying. That's why I keep going. So phase 2 that you got to push through is the resistance phase, which brings me to phase 3. If you're dedicated enough to see this phase, hope that you are. If you're hungry enough to see this phase, and by the way, if you're watching me on YouTube right now, the reason I'm dressed like this, I just got finished working out. So I got my muscles out. I'm trying to get right. So I know people like, hey, Trent in a tank top with his tattoos out. Hey, man, my energy is right. I said, I'm just going to press record and go. That's just how I do it, right? I trust my energy. But phase 3 is the momentum phase. Okay, after you break through the resistance phase, what starts to happen is that you start to create momentum, right? You see tiny incremental changes happening. You start to see growth happening, not in a major effect, but it's still major because it's building some faith in you, right? You're getting some feedback now. You're seeing some growth happen. It's like planting a seed, you start to see the little sprout, the little root come out, the little flower, the leaf. You're like, oh, snaps. And you get happy because you know what you're doing is working. You start to see the little head stick out, right? You start to see it like, oh my gosh, like I see it coming. And you get excited because you see the birth taking place. You see it coming. You're like, oh man, everything I'm doing is working, because you're going to go through a phase where you ain't going to see nothing. And you're like, and what I'm doing, is it working? I talk about that gardener's mindset so much. That's why you got to have that gardener's mindset. But this is the phase that's beautiful because you start to see momentum. You start to see things shift. You start to see things change, right? And what happens is you start to feel more confident. You start to believe more, and actually you go harder because you're like, okay, what I'm doing is working. I'm starting to see the support come. I'm starting to see the revenue start to come in. We were in the red, but I'm starting to see us move towards the green, right? I'm starting to see the podcast have a trajectory of going up now. We were like this flatlining for a long time. Now I'm starting to see the roller coaster, right? You're starting to get to the roller coaster where you're starting to climb now. And that momentum is created in your life. And this is the beautiful part. But I got to tell you this. You still got to stay hungry, because this is the phase where most people get complacent. This is the phase where most people get happy, where most people are good with just seeing a little bit of momentum. And the thing that I want to tell you right now that I would suggest to you is forget destinations, forget goals. I know I said goals at the beginning of this podcast just so you can relate to it, but I don't believe in goals. And I know that's something that I probably shouldn't, I don't care, I'm going to say it anyway. I know something that people probably don't agree with, but I'm going to tell you why. Because goals make you complacent. Goals like control your soul. Because if you're not there, you feel like you're not doing enough. Once you get there, you feel like, oh, I've done it. Right? I'm talking about living by standards. Standards over goals. Goals are something that you reach. Standards are something that you live by. Right? It's a standard of how I'm showing up. It's a standard of how I'm living. I don't care about the goal, because I know if I live by the standard, I'm going to crush the goal. I know that for a fact. That's why I say forget destinations. I talk about destination addiction a lot. A lot of people are addicted to destinations. Oh, I have to be there. I got to be here. I got to have this. Why? Because when you get there, you still ain't going to be satisfied. That's why you got to embrace the journey and love the journey. Fall in love with the journey. And say, you know what? I'm just on this journey of growth. People ask me all the time, like, what are you doing? I'm just on this journey of change. I'm on this journey of growth. I'm on this journey of transformation. That will be my answer until I tap out of this world. I don't have goals, right? I have standards. I have lifestyles that I live. And I know if I put my effort and energy towards that, we're going to do some incredible things. And the proof is in the pudding, obviously. So I'm going to tell you right now to let go of the destinations, right? And fall in love with the journey. Maybe you see the mile markers that make you smile. Say, okay, yeah, we're moving in the right direction. But forget the destinations and goals, because you're probably limiting yourself by the goals that you set anyway. 90% of people limit themselves because you're setting goals based upon what you think is possible. And the truth is, you got some impossibilities in your life that are very possible. You got some things that you think you can't do or can't become that you can. How do I know? Because I am living proof. I am literally in front of you right now. You're listening to my voice. This is an impossibility for me. I never thought that I would be this person. But you know what? I didn't give myself a cap. I didn't become my own ceiling. See, when you set a goal, you create a ceiling in your life. I believe in no ceilings. Shout out to Weezy F Baby. I believe in no ceilings. I don't believe the sky is the limit. I believe the sky has no limits. But if you set limits in your life, aka goals and destinations, then you create ceilings in your life. And usually when we get to a ceiling, we get comfortable. We get complacent. When we start to see a little bit of momentum and we chill and we never create legendary because we stop being consistent. You're like, okay, I don't have to grow no more. I don't have to challenge myself no more. I don't have to read these books no more. I'm going to stop doing what it took to get here once I'm here. And you literally in phase 3. And phase 3 lasts a long time. You defeated phase 2, which to me is the hardest phase. Now you just defeated that phase to get to phase 3 just to chill. You got to keep going, because if you keep the momentum up and you create this momentum by staying loyal to your standards, by staying loyal to your routines, by saying, okay, I know exactly what to do to create what I need, to create the success. I know we got to make adjustments over time because things change. But the momentum stage is the beautiful stage. This is where you see people separate from average to good, from average to great, from great to legendary. Is this phase right here? Because some people get comfortable with the success, right? Some people want to show off the success because it really wasn't about change and impact. It was about how I want to look in front of other people. It was about proving everybody else wrong. And that's why I always say that proving people wrong crap, proving my haters crap, leave that mindset to the past, man. Don't do it for them. Because once you prove them wrong, then what? We ain't doing it for haters. We ain't doing it for people who doubted us. And this is why people get to this phase and they never move past this phase. They never move to legendary status because they're okay with just proving somebody wrong. Yep, you're doubting me. I'm going to post on Facebook. Look where I am now. This is the phase where you see some momentum and you start to invest in things to impress other people instead of investing in things to grow your business, instead of investing in things to grow your life. This is the phase where a lot of people get comfortable, if I'm being real with you. So if I take it to my life, I had this phase where I started to see merchandise. I'll just speak about merch. I started to see merchandise take off. The momentum was increasing. Ordering 100 shirts, 200 shirts. And I'm like, okay, I'm making some good revenue from that. You know, $17, $18 profit off of each shirt. And at that time of my life, that was some good revenue. And I had a choice. The momentum was there. But I say, you know what? I'm not trying to impress nobody. I don't care if people doubted me. That's between them and God. I don't care. I don't care about your doubts. I don't care about what you think of me. Think whatever you want to think of me. It's not going to change the truth about me. It's not going to change how I feel about myself. I don't care if you judge me. You know what? I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep giving you something great to judge. I don't care if you talk about me. Talk about my good side. Talk about what I'm doing if you're going to talk about me. But one thing you won't talk about me is Trent quit, Trent gave up, Trent threw in the towel. You won't say that. You might say, oh, Trent didn't change, Trent think this, Trent ain't that. I don't care about your opinion because I got a truth about my life that has me so focused that I can care less about what outsiders got to say. Outside things don't affect my internal soul. I'm built like that, just like you got to be built like that. And that's facts. Keeping it straight up with you. So yeah, I had a choice to impress people or I can continue to invest back into the mission. And you know what I did? I invested back into the mission. I brought on an assistant. I brought on some people, right? I took care of my people and I kept reinvesting and kept re up instead of trying to impress them because it wasn't about impressing them or proving them wrong. And I created more momentum. I got more help. And when you do that, when you're so focused on continuing to create the momentum, not just in yourself, but also your team and people around you, right? Investing in their momentum. Investing in their life, being a leader. This is the moment where you move into leadership. I wasn't even gonna go here. This is the moment where you move into leadership, purposeful leadership. This is the moment where you say, you know what? I'm gonna be the leader. I'm gonna set the tone for my company. I'm gonna set the tone for my friends. I'm gonna set the tone for my family. I'm gonna set the tone for everybody around me. I'm going to be contagious. I know mindsets are contagious, and I want people to catch my mindset. Because if you catch my mindset, you're going to be greater, you're going to be better, you're going to be more legendary. So come around me. This is the moment right here for you where you move into conscious leadership. See, some people are unconscious, right? Some people are just pitiful leaders and positional leaders. They're just leaders because they have the position. That's it. But this is where you become a leader because you're doing the thing. This is the spot where you become a leader because you're investing in your team. You pouring in other people. You having phone calls every day, talking to your team, reminding them of their greatness, reminding them that they built for it, right? Speaking life into their life. You embrace that role of leadership, not just for yourself, but for everybody around you. And you start to shift the culture. You start to shift the culture in your house. You start to shift the culture in your business. You start to shift the culture everywhere you go. And you become that guy or you become that girl. You become the person, man, it's something about them. You ever been around Trent? You ever been around such and such? You ever been around you? Man, it's something about them. They just different. And what's different is you embrace this leadership role. You realize, oh, okay, all I got to do is embrace this. Lead myself first and then lead others. Be the example, try my best and persevere. Live by the set of standards and rules with my life. Okay, cool. And you start to create momentum within your circle, within your team, within your family. You start to be the example and everybody wants a piece of it. Everybody, man, I want to be around that. I created that culture at Rehab Time when I first started. Go ask me, we would go to the park, and I'm just going to give y'all some backstory a little bit. We would go to the park. I want y'all to know this was built from the ground up. This was built out the mud. This wasn't given to me. I didn't have the relationship that said, here you go, Trent. Here's my platform. You can join it. This wasn't given to me. So trust me. I feel you. I know where you're at. This is from the ground up. This is from working out at parks because I couldn't afford no gym to train people in. Hey, let's go to the park. It's free. And what happened was I built a culture through those workouts where people wanted to be around it, where people wanted to be around the energy. And it started to spread where it'd be 50, 60 people show up, 70 people show up. And I started to record it live and everybody across the world was like, man, what is this dude? Boom. And just people's lives were changed. Those people that came to those parks to get the workout, they became better human beings. By them becoming better human beings, the people around them became better. They started to show up with them because I was conscious. I said, you know what? I'm going to create the momentum, not just in me, but everything around me. I'm going to create the momentum of the name Rehab Time because it was my vision to be the #1 online community for self-worth and self-help. When I first started Rehab Time, that was the vision. And I think we've accomplished that. Are we damn near close? And so I said, man, if I'm going to move towards that vision, I got to create momentum outside of myself. And the truth is, this is the moment where you realize that it's bigger than you when you're at this stage. This is the moment where you realize that it's bigger than you. You realize that it's bigger than you. You understand what I'm saying to you. It's bigger than you. It's not just about you. It's bigger than you. What you doing it for? Get back focused on that. Get back to that meaning. Get back to that mission. Get back to that why. What you're doing it for should be bigger than you. Because if it's bigger than you, you'll realize the responsibility that you have to stay committed. You won't give up. You won't move back to the phase of resistance because resistance shows up all throughout these phases, by the way. Just as a spoiler alert, resistance is going to show up in every single phase. But a lot of people lose momentum. They move back to resistance. They move backwards. They create the momentum and then they start investing in the wrong things. They get happy. They say, oh, look at me. It's all about me. Look what I'm doing. They start lying in their bios on social media. So right, I'm to top this and top that because you're trying to impress everybody. Let's be real and talk about it. I know some of y'all might hate me for this, but your bio shouldn't be more impressive than your real life. Hello. I said it. I did say that. Your bio shouldn't be more impressive than real life. Some of y'all worry about your bio too much. Get on ChatGPT, write the best bio for me. Nah, create your best life. Some of y'all on ChatGPT, create the best bio to make people think that I'm successful. Make it sound successful. And you create this bio that ain't even true. I'm the top this. I'm the bestseller this. All these things thinking that's going to make people believe in you more. No, let them experience your heart. My real life is better than my bio. My bio sucks pretty much. It don't tell my whole story. I don't have enough room on Facebook or on Twitter or Instagram to write my bio. It would get boring because I've accomplished a lot in my life and I said it unapologetically. That was a moment for me when I realized like everybody's bio was talking this. And listen, no disrespect to you if it's like that, but change it. What I mean by change it, make your real life better than your bio. Please make your real life better than your bio and get to a point where you don't even care about your bio, where people know your bio. People know who I am because of how I showed up these last 15 years. I ain't got to introduce myself no more. For the most part, especially online, people know, oh, you that guy that be making them videos. I get it every time I go out. I was just in Vegas. Hey, you the guy that be on, what's your name, Trey? Yeah, you the dude. Because I wasn't worried about impressing people through my bio. I was worried about impacting people through my heart and my life. That's the difference. Phase 4. If you're lucky enough to reach this phase, blessed enough, which I believe that you are because you're here, you're still with me. Most people ain't listening to this no more. It's too long. But you're still here. So I appreciate you. Hopefully you share this on your social media and say, man, you know what? Live legendary. I'm living legendary. This is a part of living a legendary life right here. So you're here. I appreciate you still rocking with me. Hopefully my energy isn't too high for you right now, but I'm just going in and I'm just getting started. Phase 4. Phase 4 is execution. It's results. This is where you start to see the harvest take place. This is where you start to see that seed that you've been planting for a year, for a month, for 5 years. You start to see it taking place. This is when the momentum becomes real. This is when the momentum makes the moment. The moment when you realize you hit your tipping point and say, I've arrived, right? Not your destination, but I've just arrived and believing that it's possible now. Because we never arrived. Let me be clear about that. I've arrived at my true belief because now I see it. I truly believe now. I truly understand the process. And I can duplicate this process over and over. I do understand that it's real. You've arrived at that it's real now because some of us don't believe that it's real. You think people just be talking. Somebody's listening to me right now and be like, oh, that ain't real. Like, whatever. You don't understand my life. Prison perspective type of stuff. But this is where your perspective shifts to your power. This is where you start to see, oh, it's true. Success really ain't that hard. I just got to go through these phases and not give up in these phases. This is when you at the road of success, you start to see the people who finish. You start to see, look around. Oh, I'm around the people who finish. You're around an elite group of people. As they say, what? Mile 26, whatever they say, mile 10 is a lot less crowded than mile 1, 2, and 3. This is where you start to see that truth. You start to see the people who didn't give up at resistance. You start to see the people who were keeping the right momentum. You start to see the people who weren't just excited, but actually were committed to the things they said they wanted to do. You start to be around. You say, oh, this is all you got to do. And this might take 5 years. It might take 7 years. It might take a year. I don't know your journey. I don't know what God has for you, to be real with you. I'm not going to be that guy and put you on the timeline. But this is where you start to see the fruits of your labor. This is where you start to see all the work that you put in. For me, this is where I started to see 1,000 people showing up at my events. This is where I started to see, the book, The Greatest You, that was in 2019. I started this in 2009. 10 years. For some of the areas in my journey, it took 10 years to get to this moment. The Greatest You selling hundreds of thousands of copies. This is where you start to see it. This is where you start to see people mention your name with the greats and calling you a legend and calling you top this and top that. People are saying that, not you. This is where your bio starts to become real. This is where you can put in your bio now, yeah, I'm the top this and best selling that, if you want to, if you're into those type of things, right? This is the execution phase. This is the result phase, where you start to see your garden start to change, right? The garden of your dreams, the garden of your life, the garden of your business, you fill in the blank, it starts to change. Because at first it was just dirt, right? It was just some mulch. That's it, right? We started to see the little sprouts come out, but now people can see your beautiful garden, right? This is when the body transforms from your workouts, eating healthy. This is when your business starts to take off. This is when people now want you a part of what they're doing. They want to be around you, right? This is when achievements start to happen. This is when your garden becomes beautiful at this phase. And the truth is, probably 10% of people actually get here. They actually get to this phase of all the work they put in and seeing their work come to life. And there's no better moment in feeling and seeing your work come to life. This is when you go out and people say, man, I appreciate you. Or people said, I read your book. Or people say, man, I follow you on social media. I listen to your podcast. And you start to realize everything you've been through was purposeful. Everything you've been through was for a greater cause and a bigger picture, and your vision starts to become your reality. And I talk about this a lot when I teach companies and teams about all life is in this journey of success is having reality catch up to your vision. Right? Your vision just meets your reality, and the things you dream about become real. And actually your life is better than your dreams because you're actually living your dream. You're in your vision. You are here. And that's what I want for you. And I want to tell you it's possible. You're looking at them right now. You're looking at possibility right now in the face. Are you listening to me right now? I'm not just somebody just telling some motivational things that I haven't experienced. I lived it. I've been through it. I've been through this process in different areas of my life, from sports to what I do now. But this is what you work for. But I got to be real with you. This isn't the final phase. A lot of people get to this phase and they're okay. And that's okay. But there's a select group of people that I call legendary. Remember we talked about never arriving, never getting complacent, right? Not having a destination, not having a goal. You see, the people that have goals and have destinations, they usually get here and they say, you know what, I arrived and I'm good. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. But if you truly want to live legendary, be legendary, you're not satisfied at this place because you know there's more work to do. I know that there's a person out there that needs to hear my message that has no idea that Trent Shelton even exists. So yes, I got millions of podcast downloads, millions. I don't care because I'm still missing a podcast download. And that's how I stay consistent, showing up, creating content. I got billions of video views, literally. I don't care because there's one view I don't have, the person that needs to hear me. And I keep that in the forefront of my mind every single day. That's why I'm able to stay focused and stay hungry and stay relentless and resilient for this mission I believe God placed in my heart. There's somebody out there that has no idea that you exist, that needs you. And until you leave this earth, that will be true. And that simple thing right there will carry you into the next phase. And the next phase of this whole journey is legendary, right? Phase, this 5 or 6, I didn't lost count. Phase 5 is legendary. This is where you etch your mark in history. This is where you leave a footprint that can't be erased. This is where you live forever. Whether you're a grandpa, a dad, whether you're a coach, a teacher, whether you are president, it don't matter who you are. But if you went through all these phases in your title, in your life, whatever it is, in your thing, your job, your creation, your business, whatever it is for you, all those areas if you want to, this is where you become unforgotten, right? Nobody can forget you. This is when your presence is truly felt, is truly honored, is truly respected. This is where your absence leaves a huge mark. This is where you're missed. This is where when you go to your funeral service, or when people go to your funeral service, it's packed. And people be standing in, people be standing up at the microphone talking too long. And your family get mad because they won't shut up. But they can't shut up because you made such an impact on their life. This is a legendary phase that you deserve to be at. And it takes time to get here. I'm going to be real with you. And I don't know the timeline, but it does take time to get here. But I promise you it's possible. You just got to be able to go down this journey, this road of success, this road of legendary. So I want you to make a commitment right now and go through this process and see where you're at and really come up with a deep-rooted reason and mission on why you're going to continue to go through these phases, right? Phase 1, the decision and excitement phase. Everybody's here. It's crowded here, right? Phase 2 is the resistance phase. This is where it gets tough. This is where you start to question if you really want this. And stage 3, the momentum phase. You break the resistance. You start to create momentum. You start to see little things happening. You start to believe a little bit. It starts to become real. Then when you move through the momentum phase, you get to stage 4, which is the execution phase, right? You're executing on everything. Everything is just, you can't miss. You're like, yes, you batting 1,000. The result phase, you see that, right? Phase 4, you start to see the results and you start to be like, okay, I'm not doing this for nothing. Bring some confidence, some reassurance in your soul. And then you get to phase 5, which is the legendary phase. And remember, a legend is just an ordinary person that's extraordinary at something. That's it. A legend is just an ordinary person that's extraordinary at something. A legend is the person that is brilliant with their consistency. And they keep going like the Energizer Bunny for what they believe in, for what they stand for what they fighting for. And I got a feeling that that's going to be you after today. And I know you might be sitting here right now and be like, Trent, that's just for certain type of people. And if you have that mindset, we got to break it. Dive into the content. Go look at some videos. Please go look at perspective videos about, your perspective being in your prison. Go listen to the podcast. Go find some, because we got to break that. You got to believe that this is for you. When I'm saying these words, there got to be something inside you that feels like, man, he talking to me. Because if you feel like that right now, you have something inside of you that's connecting, that's resonating with legendary. And I'm speaking to the legend inside of you right now. The legend inside of you is like, wake me up, sir. Wake me up, girl. Wake me up. I want to come out. I know there's a me inside of me I haven't met yet. I want to meet this legend. I want to meet the greatest version of myself. I don't just want to die with this person. Forget the potential. I want to live in my potential, not just live with my potential. I want to live in it. I want to experience my best life. I don't want to just think about my best life. I don't want to just pray for my best life. I want to experience my best life. I want to experience the greatest version of myself, the highest version of me. That's what I want to do. And it's available to you. It is. But you got to be able to break through these phases to get there. But it takes an unwavering commitment. An unwavering commitment. That means that in inconvenience, you still committed. That means in doubt, you still committed. That means in fear, you still committed. That means in adversity, you still committed. An unwavering commitment. We ain't wavering on nothing. We committed. We ain't negotiating on nothing. We ain't negotiating on our best life. We ain't negotiating on our worth. We ain't negotiating on our legendary status. We're not negotiating on nothing. Some things should be non-negotiable, and your best life should be non-negotiable. You got to stop negotiating on it. Some of you have been negotiating, my friend, and let's be real. This might hit you in the heart. You might feel a certain type of way. I love you. I appreciate you, but you've been negotiating too much on your best life, on your best self. No more negotiating, because when you kill all that, when you make that no longer an option, the negotiation on your best self, then man, it's over then. It's easy. I'm not negotiating. If it don't add up to my best life, if this ain't leading me to my yes, my best self, my next level, my breakthrough, my legendary status, if it's not leading me there, it's an easy but hard no. It's an easy but hard no. It might be hard to say no to somebody that you love, but it's an easy no, because I know where I'm going. I know where I'm not selling for. I know what I'm not going back to. I know where I'm not staying. I might not even know where I'm going necessarily, but I know where I'm not staying. I know I'm moving forward. I don't know where forward is leading me to, but I know I'm not going backwards. I know I'm not living life through the rearview mirror. I am moving forward with my life. I will keep moving forward. Let nothing hold me back. That's the mindset that I have. That is the mindset that I have. But like I always tell you, it all starts with you. And what I need you to do for me, since you got to the end of this conversation, that means that you locked in. Most people ain't getting to the end of this. It's too much. Right? Most people want a quick fix. They get a quick fix. They get their excitement. They searching for excitement. I need to feel excited about my life. I need some motivation. They get it, and then they dip out. Most people don't want to stick with it. They don't want to learn. They don't want to apply. And they stay in those first few phases. They never break through, but you're here. That means you're committed. That means you have a spirit of commitment. That means that you want something. You want something great for yourself. Go get it. Share this with somebody. Get around like mindsets. Share this with somebody. Test somebody out around your life. Say, hey, listen to this. Be like, this inspired me. I want you to listen to it. And you'll find out about somebody's mindset real quick. And one of my rules of thumbs, if I suggest something to somebody that I know is going to help them and they don't accept it, then I know where they at in life. Nothing wrong with that. But those aren't really my people. I want to be around people who are committed to growth, committed to change, because that stuff is very contagious. I promise you. So send this to somebody. Make sure you tag me on Instagram, Facebook, at Trent Shelton, Instagram, at Trent Shelton Podcast. Spread this message. It helps. I'm showing up for y'all. And the greatest gift that you can give back to me is to help me spread this message. Share this on your Facebook right now. Share this video if you're watching on YouTube. Share it. It's all it takes. because this is why a share is so important. I don't know everybody. And again, remember I told you during this podcast that the reason I keep going, because there's a download that hasn't happened. There's a view that hasn't happened. And guess who can create that for me? You. Because maybe my ecosystem, people know me, but there's a stranger out there that might be familiar with you that you can make familiar with me. If you feel like I will be beneficial to their life, be a hero in somebody's life by sharing this today. Like I always tell you, it's rehab time. Let's get it. What I want to talk about right now, because I love to have these moments at the end of the podcast, I want to put my opinion on something. And this is what I'm going to put my opinion on. Like the podcast is over. If you want to just leave now, feel free. But a lot of people ask my opinion on a lot of things. And so I use the end of these episodes now to put my opinion on it. Just to talk about something that I feel like I can bring some insight. Whether I'm wrong or right, it's coming always from a good place. But something I want to put my opinion on is the LeBron James and his son situation and Bronny's situation. I want to just talk about this just for a little bit. Everybody I see is like against Bronny. And I want to be clear. I don't believe in handouts. Like you can ask my son. I don't believe in handouts. I don't. Did he get an opportunity that he probably wouldn't have got if his dad wasn't LeBron? Absolutely. But I want you to think about this right quick, because this is where it becomes funny for me, because I see a lot of dads that I know for sure have coached their kid and played daddy ball. You know what daddy ball is? It means that you coach the football team, not because you're a good coach, but because you want to make sure your son is taken care of. You want to get your son playing time. You give your son playing time over somebody who should deserve it. So if you're a daddy ball coach or a mama ball coach, you have no room to ever criticize LeBron, what he's doing for his kid. If you're a person that is giving somebody an opportunity because you knew him, which is a lot of us, when we take care of our people, you know what? You probably aren't the best candidate for this. It's probably somebody better. But since I know you and I trust you, then I'm going to give you the job, right? I'm going to give you the opportunity. It's been happening since the beginning of life. And I'm going to just keep it real with you right now. Like, I would take care of my son for sure, because my son has been around me. My son has me. My son has my spirit, right? And I can see if Bronny was a scrub. He's not a scrub. He's not just giving a handout. Now, he got helped by somebody putting a hand out to lift him up a little bit. But at the same time, he's not a terrible athlete. So yes, is it unfair? Maybe a little bit. But at the same time, what is LeBron supposed to do? I know I would look out for my son. If I have a connection, why wouldn't I give it to my son? Especially if I know that he's not one of those kids that is privileged, not one of those kids that hasn't worked for nothing in his life. And what I get from Bronny is that. It's simply that. Like, he looks like a kid, and I've watched him long enough, that works for it. And so roster spot 12 or 13 that you're going to give to somebody who's just going to sit on the bench. If I'm a Lakers organization and I can keep a kid that I know has been around the program, I've seen, kept my eyes on, I can actually keep this superstar LeBron James on the team, then yeah, roster spot 12 or 13, I get it. Maybe it's a guy who could have earned the spot. I understand that, but this is life. So yes, I do agree that it is unfair a little bit, but at the same time, who wouldn't take care of their kid, right? Some of y'all are teachers' pets, right? You go to your school and you do everything for the teacher so the teacher can favor your child, right? Some of y'all have done some stuff. Some of y'all have done some things, I'm going to just say that, right, to get some opportunity. So if you did that to create opportunity for your kid, create some favoritism, then at the same time, you are in the same boat. I know this is a higher scale. It's not necessarily the same thing, but it is in the same boat. It's in the same ocean. Facts. So I want to just say that because I see so many people hating. For one, hating on a kid. Like, why? Be happy. Because I'm going to just say this, that hating spirit is contagious. It is. Even if I disagree, I don't hate. I don't have hate in my heart. Some of y'all are just exposing yourself, and then some of y'all just want attention. Right? Just want to get on the internet, say something crazy so somebody can say something to you and you can feel important and want some attention. But hating on a child, want a child to lose, like I see it. They want Bronny to lose. I want Bronny to win. I do. I want anybody that's going for a dream, because it's hard. As a former professional athlete, I know how hard it is to make that happen. I want him to win. And you know what? If he doesn't win in that area, man, at least he got the experience. But I'm not going to be cheering for the stands. Oh, he didn't score any points. Look at him. And wanting him to lose. That's a loser spirit. As I always say, this is my quote. I know people have taken it over the years. Like, they take a lot of my stuff. I shouldn't care about that. And I don't, but I'm just like, dang, can I get some credit? But my quote is, winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners, right? So a winner is going to always focus on winning. I think they credit that to Mike Phelps, but I know that was my quote, Mike Phelps. But anyways, winners focus on winning and losers focus on winners. And it's true. Like, if you're focused on somebody who's winning in life and hating on a person that's winning in life, I hate to say the word loser, but you have a spirit of losing. I'm not saying you are a loser, but it's a spirit inside that you need to heal, man. You know what I mean? So that's my thought on that. That's my opinion on it. I don't blame LeBron. I probably would have did the same thing. I would have took care of my kid because it's my kid. I mean, the world not gonna take care of you anyway. The world, like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, the world's gonna be the world. The world's gonna always have a problem with you. You know, there's some people like, oh man, you need to look out for Bronny, right? You're never gonna please the world. So I have no issue with that. Like, again, the only issue I have that maybe somebody who deserved it a little bit more didn't get the opportunity, but hey, it's life. That's real life. How many of us have deserved something? I can tell you in football, I deserved a lot, but I didn't get the opportunity because of politics, because of business. You know, I could have made football teams, but because I wasn't the draft pick, I didn't get the opportunity. Is it fair? No. But is it life? Yeah. So just how life works. If you look at a lot of areas in your life, I'm sure you had some handouts, or I'm sure you would hand out some things to people that you love. So that's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. Like I tell you at the end of every single episode, it all starts with you. Hit me up too. Let me know. Get in the comments. Let me know how you feel about my opinion. Like, I'm not sensitive. It's just an opinion. It can be wrong. Your opinion can be right or wrong. Who cares? Or hit me up on Instagram. Let me know how you feel. And also, let me know what else you want me to put an opinion on. And also, as we leave here in the comments, like, let me know what you want to make, what you want me to make podcast over. Like, let me know what you want me to make podcast over. Like, get in my inbox at Trent Shelton Podcast. Ask your questions in the chat. Like, ask so I can answer your questions through a podcast episode. I'll talk to you soon. Let's get it.